has started a campaign, Justice for Jaahnavi. A lot of emotions, a lot of anxiety and a lot of concern over what happened in the US court after the death of Jaahnavi, a student from Adoni in Kurnool of Andhra Pradesh, and she was killed in an accident on the road in the US, in Seattle, in fact, on January 23rd. What we all do know of the case is that Kevin Dave, an officer of the police, was in fact driving a vehicle, and in an emergency response situation, we are told, he drove his vehicle at a speed of 119 kilometers per hour, and Jaahnavi was in fact walking on the road, and that's when she was hit by this vehicle, and she seems to have died right there. What subsequently followed was that Kevin Dave was with another officer, Daniel Order, and body cam footage and audio that was released in September 2023 caused even more of hurt in the heart, should I say, for the family of not just Jaahnavi, but for the entire community, not just of Indians, but I would think all sensitive people across the world, because what that policeman seemed to suggest was something that was very, very insensitive, and something that could have been thought of as a very racial comment as well, because what he says is that she is 26 and she is of limited value and you just need to write out a check for her. That's what he is saying, heard saying in that particular body cam video audio that was released by the police subsequently. But the most recent development of the Kevin Dave being the case against him being dropped because of lack of sufficient evidence, this is something that has caused a lot of anger among people, and many questions are also being raised. K.T. Ramarao, former IT minister from Telangana, who had in fact pursued the case earlier, he is demanding that the US ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti, should take this up matter with the US authorities, and he has demanded that they must deliver justice to the family of young Jaahnavi Kandula, and he has requested the External Affairs Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, to take up the matter with his counterpart and ensure that justice is done, because hearing that no criminal charges will be pressed against Kevin Dave is something that everyone is finding very painful. What the US authorities have said is that while he was driving at a speed of 119 kilometers per hour, it does not come within the purview of reckless and of capable of causing harm with any intent to cause harm to any other pedestrian. Now, Rajya Sabha MP and former chairperson of the Delhi Commission for Women, Swati Maliwal, has also reacted now to this to these happenings, and she has in fact said that the US court's verdict has deeply shaken the Indian community. Circumstances of Jaahnavi's death are distressing. The factors cited by prosecutors do little to assuage the concerns. The prosecutors had said that there is not enough evidence, and therefore they had to drop the criminal charges against Kevin Dave. But I must point out that Daniel Order, however, is facing charges for the kind of comments that he had made. There were questions raised about the kind of sensitivity or training to sensitivity that policemen in Seattle are receiving, and that was something that that shocked everyone who heard those comments. So the prosecutors failed to gather sufficient evidence, and there is a sense of dismay among the Indian diaspora, and therefore she has requested that this should be taken up by Mr. Jaishankar with the US authorities. So while these developments are happening, her family has remained silent, should I say, because I did speak to them when the body cam footage was released, and they were even at that time deeply distressed, and right now what they have said is that they are only now trying to come out of the kind of depression that the mother went to. She was a school teacher, but she had refused to start coming out of the house after the death of her daughter under very tragic circumstances, and the grandfather told me that she is only now trying to cope, trying to accept the reality of the daughter going away, and this development or this news from the US has only distressed her that much more, and therefore they requested that we do not violate their privacy by asking for a reaction as well. So what I must point out is that big numbers of Indian students go to the US. In fact, India is the country from where the largest number of students go to the US. 1 in every 4 students, or more than that, in fact, foreign students in the US is from India. Last year also there was a record that they spoke about 2,60,000 and more Indian students among the foreign students studying in the universities in US, and increasing number of incidents of these students uh, having tragic kind of circumstances in which they are dying or being assaulted or being met with situations that cause distress and anxiety to the parents and families out here. This has become a matter of huge concern, and therefore the US authorities are being asked to address these concerns by the Indian community, because such big numbers of Indian students, in fact, in the year 2009-10 itself, the number had in fact crossed the number of students coming in from China and elsewhere, and Indian students are the biggest diaspora among the foreign students in the US, and therefore the concerns of the Indian community also sought to be addressed. That is the plea of many of these people who have raised a voice after the verdict by the US court in the Jaahnavi Kandula case. In Hyderabad, with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.